Hola, minasan! Welcome for another round of Kaiju number 8. Last time, uh, Reno and Iharu took on that mysterious kaiju and became Swiss cheese. They all became Swiss cheese, and they were able to get the communications out. And now, Kafka's gonna make another decision and head off to rescue them, which means he's going to expose himself once again. So let's see how badly he exposes himself and flash in front of everybody. So let's get reading. Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto, chapter 19. Kikoru stared at Kafka, and with an angered face, she screamed out into his ear, "Ah, you're going to track down Nino and Iharu! They've gone radio silent. Their vitals can't even be detected. So how do you expect to?" And in Kafka's mind, he thought about what had happened when he was Kaiju number 8. As his Kaiju senses were tingling, and he knew where the Kaiju were at. Sitting atop the roof with the moonlit sky shining over them, he began to transform. If it's the same humanoid Kaiju you encountered, then I should be able to detect him. And his uh, explanation caught Kikuru's attention. "Hey, Kikoru, take care of things here." And he jumped off to make his way to Reno and Iharu. And she screamed out, "Oh, wait a second! I can't believe he transformed here of all places." As she saw all the Yoju and Honju surrounding them, and as everyone continued on fighting, she heard the message from the other squadron. "This is Igaruga, Platoon Delta Squad. We've discovered a humanoid kaiju in Zone Echo, southeast area. From its features, it appears to be Kaiju number 8. And she was shocked that he was already detected before he even had a chance to do anything.
Copy that, son. I'll dispatch the neutralization squad. Do you have that? Uh-huh.
"Ah, that moron!" Kikoru said as she overheard the vice captain may respond to the respond to the intercom. Meanwhile, back where Kaiju 8 dispatched his opponent, the Sniffets found him and aimed their rifles right at him.
Oh, yes.
The Sniffet said.
We are ready to blast you in the head.
The other Sniffet said.
Of course. Soon you will understand the pain.
And Kafka realized. And as Kafka stared at the Sniffets, the opponent Kaiju started regenerating and spoke. "So the camouflage barrier is broken, huh? But thanks to that," he said as Kafka looked up at him on the roof with his guts all hanging out and slowly regenerating, "I have a chance to escape." And that's when Kafka realized, "What crap?" He should have continued his assault, but he froze at the sight of the Sniffets. And the enemy Kaiju responded, "I know your profile now. Next time I'll kill you." Kafka screamed out, "You're not going anywhere." To which then the Kaiju pointed at him and said, "You're next." And that's when the Sniffet realized what's happening, and Kafka knew what was about to happen as the Kaiju's forearm started bubbling and bulging and slowly stretching over to his finger. And Kafka immediately jumped right in front of the Sniffets and took 2 shots to the arms. The Sniffet was shocked at what had happened. And the enemy Kaiju spoke. "For Kaiju, you sure have some human-like behavior." And he flashed off into the night. "See you again, Kaiju number 8." Kafka clenched his fist, ready to run. "Then I got no choice but to retreat myself." and he shot himself up into the air, leaving behind a plume of smoke. And as it billowed up into the air, he looked up high in the sky, scanning the horizon. He noticed the Sniffets are taking care of Reno and Iharu.
Great, they're getting rescued.
He thought to himself.
I may have let the humanoid type go, but I did what I came for.
And as Kafka slowly descended and landed back to the ground, he thought to himself,
all right, now to change back somewhere out of view.
And he made his way into the alley. It was completely dark and no one in sight.
This place ought to be free of people and drones.
And that's when suddenly the vice captain arrived and landed right behind Kafka.
Nah, I gotta say, son, a pitch black body and a demonic skull face, that definitely makes you the devil himself. And I finally got you where I want you. A kaiju number 8.
He turned around and rested his hands on the hilt of his swords, ready to throw down with him.
Oh,
Kafka said, and thought to himself,
Vice Captain Hoshino.
As Vice Captain got on intercom.
Hoshino here. It's appeared I found I'm at Zone Foxtrot. I'm in contact with Kaiju number 8. He most definitely looked like those toe jam, and I'm gonna dispatch this little fungus before it causes any more trouble.
And as everyone overheard, Reno rested his hands over his belly and hoped for the best. Kikoru was horrified at what was about to transpire, and Mina was pissed and ready to go, ready for the throwdown. Hoshino, smiled within his mask, and and he asked,
Now, son, it seems you've been taking good care of my officers, but it don't really matter. You don't get to score any brownie points in my book. Soon you'll be all aboard, and I'll eat you alive.
Kikoru screamed out,
Ah, the neutralization's got this Vice Captain Hoshino himself.
and Reno screamed within the mask, "No, you've got it wrong, Vice Captain Hoshino. That person is." And Kafka's eyes grew wide in fear as Hoshina slid right in front of him at hyperspeed, his blade already sliding along Kafka's shoulder, and it's lined up with the neck, ready to slice through like a hot knife through butter.
Oh, he is.
Kafka thought, and immediately ducked back as he saw the white flick in front of his eyes like a flash of light.
Fast.
And suddenly he started ordering Kafka with his swords, each strike missing by mere inches, as Kafka chuck and jive side to side, jumped and ducked, blocked and everything, and he slid back right out of the alley. And that's when Hoshina thought to himself, when it comes to miniature mid-side threats, I'd say the odds are in my favor, son. That was no bluff. And Kafka slid back and thought to himself,
That was not bluff. He really is used to fighting miniature kaiju.
You're made out of tough stuff, son. I'm pretty impressed. But I'm pretty sure I hit you at least twice back there. You had to have felt some type of pain. But if you haven't felt any pain, I'm going to get surgical on you.
I've ever only seen him with a big grin on his face.
Kafka thought to himself and realized that with the mask on, he's hiding everything. All of his emotions and all of his determination, leaving only eyes that are focused and filled with rage.
I guess I'll have to really let you have it, son. I just want to let you know that I'm quite impressed, but, I have to dispose of you. It's my job. Sorry about that.
So, this is what Vice Captain Hoshina looks like when he's killing a kaiju.
Kafka thought to himself. And so, with that, with great hesitation, Kafka knew what he was going to have to do as he heard Hoshina go on the comms.
I'm requesting permission for eliminate removal. Do I get a request permitted?
Roger. Okanogi announced, and Hoshina crouched down like Spider-Man with both of his hands resting on the hilts.
Uh,
Unleash combat power 92%.
You're as good as neutralized, son. Consider yourself worthy of my blades.
To be continued. Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto. Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto, Chapter 20.
You're as good as neutralized, son. Prepare to have your neck snap.
Hoshina said as he crouched like Spider-Man and rested his fingers on the edge of his hilts. Reno overheard what he said and whispered, "No!" Ihadu just sat in sullen silence, and Kikuru was shocked at what was about to happen. Kafka immediately raised his fist up,
Kirk.
and he thought about the regeneration of the kaiju.
What I do?
Hoshina was prepared to run to make his move.
I can't just swing my fist at Captain Hoshina. He'll become paste, maybe even liquefied.
However, his hesitation, his concerns no longer mattered, for a slice went right through his body and blood splurted out.
Ah!
Kafka screamed out.
It looks like the blade pierced you. That's a 10-4 there. Now I'm gonna have to make another move.
Hoshina said as he latched onto the pole like Spider-Man and was ready to make his next move. And Kafka immediately pressed his leg into the ground, making it crack. Oh, sorry. Hoshina's legs cracked the telephone pole as he's ready to make his next move. Kafka looked up and saw what was about to happen.
This is bad. I won't survive if I keep holding back. The Defense Forces suits are bioweapons embedded with kaiju cells and muscle fibers. The higher you unleash combat power, the more capable you are of forming a strong enough link with those components to draw out more power. The first time I saw Kikuru in action, it was unbelievable. It was so impressive. I wanted more suit. I wanted a suit for myself. But this? Oh no, Hoshina has a crazy Eva suit that's on a whole nother level.
And Kafka immediately dodged as soon as he saw a slice along the concrete.
At this point,
and he began wow what a shot there, jumping all over the place throughout the street as Hoshina hopped from wall to wall, building to building, window to window, slicing in every direction imaginable. And Kafka thought to himself,
his movements are inhumane.
Kafka continued thinking,
his attacks are so quick I don't have time to harden my body to defend myself. He's way faster than that humanoid kaiju from early.
Sword slay technique number 1, air slice aside.
And there it was, a connection. The blade went right through Kafka's chest and severed his arm, his left arm. Kafka was shocked. He didn't realize it.
But I dodged.
He thought to himself,
what is this? Some sort of invisible slash? Am I caught in some kind of Dragon Ball Z Final Flash maneuver type thing?
A card detected. I see it right now, and I'm ready to take him down.
Hoshina said.
Kirk!
Kafka said as he made his left arm reform and regenerate.
Yeah, I guess I'm not exactly human either. At least I get regeneration powers for now. I know because I just tried it, but regenerating consumes a huge amount of stamina. And if I take too many hits, I'm in trouble.
And as he took his eyes off Hoshina from the top of the roof, Hoshina leapt up in the air and started slicing more. Each one after the next, reaching Kafka. And Kafka punched every single side of the blade, knocking it to the side.
It's one hit or nothing. I gotta take the Campbell.
He thought to himself. Hey, hold on now. Are you for real? He thought to himself. I'm going pretty damn hard. but he's dodging the blades and changing their course with precision. This thing just might be way too highly intelligent. He's probably the devil's brain. I'm gonna have to do something about that. Maybe a little lobotomization. And have a fortitude of over 8.0, which would make you a Dai Kaiju. That's not a good idea. That's not good. But what's with this? An uneasy easiness I've been feeling this whole time. It's like when I stare at that there unagi and wonder if I should eat it raw or eat it cooked. And then Hoshina landed on the ground and with a Spider-Man pose. Oh, whatever, he said. It's time to kick it into high gear, son.
You've been saying that 1,000 times. When are you gonna kick into this high gear?
Sword Slay, technique number 5. And he shifted his sword and it began to vibrate. He crossed his arms. He swung his arms into a cross, and the blades created a sound in the shape of an X.
An invisible blade strike?
Kafka freaked out.
A double strike!
He jumped to the side.
Is this Magic the Gathering?
As he thought to himself as his left leg falls to the ground, and Hoshina shows up right underneath him.
No, wait. The double strike was a dekai for
A miss slasher.
And Hoshina successfully connected from the right, and his blade sliced right through the chest, leading up to where his heart is at. Kafka stared at it in horror as he thought to himself,
a triple strike!
as Hoshina put enough force to get to where his lungs are at in the middle of his chest. Oh, I've got him, he thought to himself, and then froze in place and saw a pair of teeth clamp down onto his swords.
My blade won't budge. What in the world is this?
That was close. I didn't expect this level of sheer force.
Kafka thought to himself as blood poured out of his skull-like mouth.
But when you found my core, I figured you'd come gunning for it.
Kafka immediately charged up his fist and pulled back.
Oh, hell. I guess I'm going to end up in heaven after all.
And the fist flew right at Hoshina. And he punched off the sword, breaking it into pieces, leaving only the blade attached to his chest due to his chest teeth. The ground formed a crater and debris flew up in the air. Hoshina was shocked as he slid away from the impact zone, and he found his hand missing the weapon. Tuck, he thought to himself as he looked at the smoke pluming up into the air. And he slapped himself on the forehead and thought to himself, "Oh, I let him get away. That's not good." Mina immediately spoke from the intercom.
Status report. Kaiju number 8, he escaped.
Hoshina said as he stood in the middle of the street, looked up into the air as the morning sun shined over him and cast a shadow of his failure onto the street below. To be continued. Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto. Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto, chapter 21. Hikaru sat on top of the dead carcasses of the Honshu that everyone took out. She was listening to as everybody was doing cleanup and getting ready to roll out. She overheard the intercom as it spoke. Several Lim has dissipated. Collection failed. Search party organized. Okanogi said, and Kikoru thought to herself,
Kaiju number 8, Kafka Hibano. Seeing him change in front of me reminded me of what he is. Is he really someone I can trust?
She leaned over her knees as she heard a loud crash from below, and she looked down, and there was Kafka, huffing and puffing. His hand lurched over, trying to take deep breaths. "Hey, I'm back," he said, and she smiled happily. "Sorry for making you worry. Kafka said.
Oh, excuse me, I wasn't worried, but I do have some choice words for you.
And Kafka fell over before she can finish. She, with her hyper speed, she immediately hurried over and grabbed him before he completely hit the ground.
Oh, hey, wait just a minute.
Sorry, I let it get away, Kafka said. The thing that hurt you. And Kikoru was shot. Then she pouted and looked the other direction.
Not like that matters to me. I'll just kill it myself.
And Kafka tried to get back up onto his feet, but his legs were so weakened, he almost fell again.
Ah, hold on. Where do you think you're going in that state?
Ichikawa and Hyaru are hurt bad. I need to get to them.
Go to the, and do what, Bretel?
She immediately pulled back on his collar and keeping him from walking, and he went gurk.
I'm positive they're fine. The Defense Force has been developing spin-off technology from Kaiju powders, even tech utilizing their restorative abilities. I'm speaking from first-hand experience, so you know what I'm saying. Is that I thought you.
And Kafka calmed down and then nodded. Yes, ma'am. A 32-year-old being lectured by a teenager. And Kafka and Kikoru got right into his face and pointed at his chin.
Oh, never mind that. You need to worry about yourself and that chin. Not only did officer spot you, you ran into Vice Captain Hoshina himself. You could have been dead. I wouldn't be surprised if he's caught on to you by now.
And Kafka let out a slight sweat off his brow as he realized the implications of what he had done. Hoshina, meanwhile, sat cross-legged with his arms crossed over his chest, very sad at the outcome of his battle. Amina showed up.
It's oh, it's rare to see you in a slump. Was it that strong, Kaiju number 8?
Mina asked. Yeah, what catches me at my least significant dignified moment I see. Would you please be kindly and show some respect? And Mina pulled out a camera and took a picture of him.
I better snap a shot for posterity.
Oh, would you quit it, woman? I think we have a Daikaiju on our hands. He's pretty powerful stuff. He's more than just the Devil's Toe Jab. He may be the Devil's Knuckle.
Oh.
Amina said.
That would make it the first emergence since Fukuoka case from 5 years ago.
Yeah, Hoshina said, pouting away even further. Luckily, number 8 hasn't claimed any lives over the past few months. It doesn't seem like the type to attack people indiscriminate. And that's when he thought to himself, yeah, wait, something's not right. Why would the Devil's Knuckle do something like that? Why did number 8 opt to break my weapon instead of attacking me? He had me dead to rights. I should have been in heaven right now. Why don't I see St. Peter and the pearly gates right now? Now that I think about it, the movements and reactions all struck me as kind of being off. It felt like less like I was fighting a kaiju and more like I was fighting a human. Is it possible?
I'll take over from here. You rest.
Mina said as she walked away from Hoshina.
No matter the type, every kaiju must be neutralized.
Yeah, that's true. I can't even argue with that. Roger, ma'am. And that's when he heard. Okay. Ikaruga is a guy. I keep giving him a Ikaruga. Aussie voice. I haven't done Aussie yet. Oi, Captain! Vice Captain! Hey, volume control, Ikaruga. Don't be blowing my ear off unless you're the heavenly saint of God himself. So what's up? Crikey, sorry, sir. I just received some concerning intel from Furuhashi and Ichikawa. Their attacker seems to be the humanoid kaiju that was seen in the testing grounds. When they found that kaiju, it was apparently in human form. Almost like a strip on the Barbie, if you will. And Mina overheard that and hurried over to Hoshina. A kaiju that can transform into a human? Oh boy, that's not a good thing. So he ain't so much the devil's knuckle, he is the devil's testicle. Meanwhile, the news reports started coming in and blaring out the report.
Now, to other news. In addition to kaiju appearance in Sagamihara City yesterday before the dawn, there are also reports of humanoid kaiju sighted on the scene. Investigations underway.
It's Vice Captain Hoshina! The cleanup crew screamed out as Hoshina smiled before them with Okanogi holding a clipboard behind him. They sat down at the table and started the conversation. Okanogi spoke. We would like it if you gentlemen could share some details about the missing worker here. Photos of his face, for example, and if they were taken from a variety of angles, that would greatly benefit our search. You alright? Could you tell us something you might know? And she looked over at Hoshina, and he began speaking, and he spoke. Any matter currently under investigation, son, is classified. I'm afraid I can't divulge that to you, but we would appreciate your cooperation. It'll be all right. We won't turn you into a kaiju weapon. What was that? Never mind. Ignore what I just said. Moments later, after the interview, they were heading out for the exit, and Okanogi spoke. Is this really the right way to handle this? A kaiju that can transform into a human might be roaming wild, and we're withholding that information from the public? It's a decision from the top brass, young lady. Eastern Command, so our hands are tied. Plus, I can see their reasoning, if you think about it very carefully. I mean, if the devil himself is actually transforming, then we're going to end up having deaths and missing person reports that have remained stable while that thing has been sneaking around as a human. We can assume that it won't do anything that'll draw attention to itself while it's in hiding. They probably figured it'd be a liability to stir the pot, like going public with the news. Imagine, if you will, if no one knows who's a kaiju, it'll cause widespread doubt among the masses. People will start panicking and start killing people with passing semblances, inciting harassment, and even rioting. Imagine, if you will, if you just sneeze, and if the sneeze don't sound like a human sneeze, they'll probably kill you for not having a human sneeze and say that was a kaiju sneeze. And so that means that the most we can do is make sure that we find this thing ASAP. He presented the image of the cleanup crew worker, the new cleanup crew worker that replaced Reno and Kafka, and Oshinoki nodded in agreement. Hoshino thought to himself, still, that's weird, though. Why would a kaiju in home clothing exist as a person with a family register? That's a pretty weird thing. And out in the middle of the road, in the middle of the day, the kaiju in disguise was wobbling around. He couldn't figure out what was happening.
What the hell's going on here? Why am I drunk all of a sudden?
And that's when he heard a loud honk sound from behind him. Hey, out of the way! The driver said. The hell are you doing in the middle of the road? Hey! He said as he approached him with an anger mark on his forehead. You listening, bud? Move it or lose it. And the kaiju looked back and said,
I and your bud, pal.
What? I and your pal, friend?
No, I better not. South Park is a little overrated at this point.
Huh? South Park is not overrated. It is properly rated, son.
Oh, standing out even more wouldn't be a good idea either. Oh. But I should change my face just to be safe.
Hey, now what? Were you gawking at my car for? And suddenly, the kaiju took its true form. A pair of arms from its back stretched out and its mouth wide open. And all the driver could do was look in horror and say, huh? And he got eaten up.
Nom 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 nom.
Human. The radio report started. The news on the radio started blaring as the kaiju started metamorphosing in the driver's seat. This just in. The wake of the recent incident, the Defense Force has deemed the humanoid kaiju sighted at the testing grounds in Sagamihara as a long-term neutralization target. And that's when the kaiju looked at the information.
Kanji Nagamine, age 34, and lives alone, huh? I'm in luck.
And the news report finished. Registered with the code name Kaiju number 8.
Now then,
The kaiju number 9 said.
How should I kill Kaiju number 8? Oh, whoops.
And he shook his head up when he realized that he took kaiju form.
Need to keep my head on straight. I don't want to lose it to one of them. Guess I better lie in wait again until I get settled to my new skin. I love my skin suit. Gosh, I'm glad I watched Men in Black and actually learned the trick.
To be continued. Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto. Well, we had ourselves a nice little matchup. The first encounter between Kaiju number 8 and Hoshina, Vice Captain Hoshina. I keep saying Hoshino. Hoshina. Vice Captain Hoshina. We get to really see exactly what level of power he does, and we get to see how Kafka handles a situation where he has to fight a human, because Kafka does not want to kill a human. We start off, of course, with a quick flashback where Kafka talks with Kikoru, and he jumps off, and we reach the whole entire situation where Kaiju number 9, now it's established as 9, escape, pulling off an All Might move, pointing his finger at like All Might. So basically this was a very, very quick set of chapters. I could tell you that much, because he got into a hiding place, and that's when, in the most epic pose ever, man, Hoshina shows up. And of course, they just fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. They fight and they fight and they fight. The very inventive ways of fighting. Hoshina confirmed they made contact. Everybody was horrified, and what a nice panel here of Hoshina sliding right on in at high speed. The emphasis that he used that left leg to launch. It looks like he thrusted with the right leg, and the left leg is exhibiting the level of speed that he's got. Like, Kafka was just left frozen there. He was unmoved and everything. Very nicely detailed of Kaiju number 8. Just look at that. Man, the character designs are so awesome, and I like the fact that the suits are based from actual kaiju. You know what I'm saying? Like, they made it out of kaiju. No different than, the tanning the hides of husbandry. You know what I'm saying? To make leather. So I assume that's probably made of leather. And sort of and that. It's pretty impressive design. Very smart too. You know what I'm saying? Reverse engineering tech with the kaiju. Very, very inventive in this story here. But we get a whole bunch of flurry of attacks, and Hoshina's like, "I'm gonna kill you," and pulls off the Spider-Man pose. Very well done with the shading here. To emphasize the depth of his physical positioning, because he's not just only crouched. He's kind of like in a sort of like a quasi 3-point stance type thing. Like, he's ready to run, ready to dash out and make his attack. He's pretty fast. And the suit's helping him out, maintaining that high level of speed there. But we get some pretty cool fight scenes. Very well done. Very well executed stuff here. Like this, like right here. Just look at the detail going on. Nothing is lost in this panel here. And what's great too is that the text is moved away, just away enough from the rest of the panel that we could be able to get to enjoy Hoshina, jumping while Kafka is trying to escape every single attack, and really gives us a nice feel of motion, a nice feel of distance. It's pretty anime, really nice anime effect. But it's a great emphasis, and I'm really glad that the text is further away, very, very far away, just far enough for us to be able to see and enjoy what's happening there. This one's a little bit on the messy side, but it got its point through here. When Hoshina was doing a flurry of attacks, and we see that Kafka nice and clearly, and that's great because sometimes when you have small panels with this level of action, it could accidentally get lost and sometimes confusing. But Matsumoto and the team did a great job, really detailing very clearly and very cleanly every single punch that hits the sword to deflect it. Very nicely executed, and yeah, it was nicely executed. I got nothing further to say on that one. I felt like I was gonna say a lot more, but nevertheless, this was just a fantastic fight. It's very well executed, very inventive. We see Hoshina can really has some good techniques, like being able to trick Kafka into thinking that the first strike, that a double strike was going to happen, but would turn out to be a triple strike. So it shows that Hoshina really has a good repertoire of attacks. You know, he's got a good toolkit, and really shows that he can take out enemies with great precision, and that was precision, despite the fact that Kafka, is very high level. He's a 8.0 if I remember correctly. But yeah, yeah, a very important moment is when he punched the sword off, showing that he is not intending to kill, but it still shows that his strength is extraordinary because he still managed to create a crater right there from that punch, and that's just a deflection. And he used it with a lot of force, breaking the blade off the hilt, and that allowed Kafka the chance to escape and get away from everybody, get away from Hoshina more specifically. So yeah, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. This was like I said, this moved very fast, and this was a good kind of fast. Like nothing was really lost in the shuffle here. You know, Kafka returns, and really, I think I don't know what it is because she you can see how well drawn her face is, her expression. It's almost like she's getting the hots for Kafka, but where does Kafka stand? You know what I'm saying? He's completely focused on Mina and trying to be by her side and everything. I don't think it's been established yet if she knows that's what's going on. But top left panel, very cool, showing that she's got a good handle of speed. She's you can see her after image at the top of the kaiju, and then she's over there next to Kafka. Nicely done to emphasize the movement. But man, her expressions, it's just so good. Her expressions are very good, and I really do enjoy her character. She's not, she's not running around being like Asuka, all arrogant and everything. Because she is arrogant. She's overconfident, actually. You know what I'm saying? She teases Kafka a lot, but she respects everybody else, and she's slowly respecting him to the point that she won't even let him, overexert himself. Unfortunately, everybody's getting the news. They're finally getting the news, the reports from that the kaiju was humanoid in nature. Finally, I thought I mistook Ikuruga for the other team leader. I forgot her name. I thought she was Ikuruga. So I got the voices mixed up, and I gave him the Aussie accent. Now that I was able to figure that out, but that's my fault. I completely forgot, and I should have wrote their names down. I didn't. It didn't occur to me that they were going to have more dialogue. It didn't occur to me that they were going to have more dialogue, and I should have prepared for that. That's my mistake. But yeah, he gets an Aussie accent or a pseudo Aussie accent, which is no problem. Once we get to the other one, did I even write her name? Narumi? Was it? No, it wasn't. Nakanoshima. Nakanoshima. I gave her I gave her the standard basic voice. I think that I think she's the one of the squad leaders. Well, but once I come across her, I'll make sure I have that voice ready. But yeah, that was my fault. I'm just glad that I didn't stall out on that one. And of course, Oshina and Oshinogi go out and investigate, talking to Kafka and Reno's cleanup crew about what happened, and really good job pointing out, really emphasizing what would happen if people found out that kaiju can disguise as humans. It is extremely dangerous. Any panic. It's more than just panic. You could just do something simple as holding the door and somebody will say you're a kaiju. Saying witch hunts will be insured if if it ever comes out. So yeah, it makes perfect sense to hide it, and sometimes it's good to make those explanations and prevent any potential plot holes in storytelling. It's perfectly fine, to have this type of exposition, and make sure it clears out and cover up any potential plot holes that could happen. You don't want plot holes, so exposition is not bad. It's bad when it's executed. Like when they're telling the person their life story. It's like, I know my life story. Why are you telling me that? As you know. You were one. You were one of the greatest guys in the world. Yeah. I knew I was one of the greatest guys in the world. Why are you telling me this? So this is actually good exposition here, and it helps establish what could happen in the world. It's a world rule. If people find out that kaiju can turn into humanoids, can turn into humans, witch hunts will happen, and that's not good. That's not good. At all. And we close out with another interesting rule regarding these kaiju. Apparently, they can't retain their form. Probably why it's not being very clear at the moment. It'll probably be clear later, but probably it's because of the beating he took from Kafka. That was no ordinary punch, and his guts had to regenerate. So he probably spent, and as Kafka said, he uses up a lot of energy, and he's consuming a lot of fat or something like that. I probably misread that. But he says that he uses a lot of energy in his kaiju form, and this guy's probably experiencing the same exact thing. He's probably experiencing the same exact thing, and so he's going to really die if he doesn't get something in him, and that's where this guy comes in. This car driver. Yeah, no, that's right. This car driver. He gets eaten up, and now we find out that kaiju can take any form. Saying they can replace forms, and yep, that's not good for the world. That is not good for the world, and that's got to get solved. So that's it. All right. Comment, like, subscribe, follow. You want to. And head on over to Amazon.com and grab yourself a copy of the Impossible Man Strange Fantasy novel written by me. You'll find links to the book down in the description below, along with links to other merch such as pins, stickers, t-shirts, music. Enjoy the products. Thank you for your patronage. And if you're interested, you can join me on my live multi-stream on Twitch and Kick every Monday through Thursday, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to hanging out with you then. So, thank you all for joining me. Be sure to support the release. And until the next set of chapters, I wish you a good night, a buenas noches, and oyasuminasai.